Welcome to Midwest Small Town, the podcast that takes you on a journey through the heart of America and shines a light on the charming and often overlooked towns across the country, revealing where to go, stay, and play. Whether you're a traveler seeking adventure or a local looking for something new right in your own backyard, we've got you covered. So let's explore the soul of small town USA. Hello, and welcome back to Midwest Small Town, where to go, stay, and play in small town America. In the heartland, of course, the Midwest. I'm Dan, your host, and sometimes we will be joined with our co-host and my wife, Tammy. What can I say? We're back, and I mean this truly in a good way. We launched last year in 2024, put out a few episodes, and abruptly put the show on hold. Our apologies on that. We needed to step away, fully evaluate the show, make sure it aligned with our lives at the time, which we had a lot going on. Speaking of, most of it was with our family. My oldest, he had started college, was running track at Morningside University in Sioux City, and my youngest had just been recruited and started playing football at the University of Northern Iowa. So we were very busy between those things and some other things going on. And so for sure, not to mention we had another channel that I was running at the same time, Midwest Ghost Town, a history channel where I was covering abandoned towns and history in the Midwest, and put that channel on pause as well. Okay. So fast forward to today, and we came up with a crazy idea. Instead of going 2 or 3 different directions with the podcast and the channels, which are on YouTube, let's combine them into one. And that leads us to Midwest Small Town. So here we are today, relaunching Midwest Small Town as a hybrid channel, combining Midwest Ghost Town with Midwest Small Town, and there are subtle differences, but a lot that it covers in the same space, the same stories, the same people, and of course the history and the backstories that go along with it. And that is everything. So we're back, hoping to upload weekly on Thursdays, so stay tuned on that. Of course, you can find us wherever you listen to your podcast. Consider following along, dropping a comment, and subscribing. We are considering ourselves a big family here. So what does that mean? It means that drop us a comment. We want to hear from you. We want to converse with you, talk to you. You can email us, and we would love to hear from you. Comment on both channels. You can comment on our podcast, and we'll just go from there. Today, we are going to be getting right after it and going to the big, beautiful state of South Dakota. And if you've ever been on a road trip through South Dakota, then you probably have driven along Interstate 90, right through the southern part of the state, running essentially from Sioux Falls to Rapid City and just a little beyond, wrapping itself through the Black Hills and through Spearfish and into Wyoming. Beautiful scenery on the western half of the state, but today we're going to focus on a town along I-90 that finds itself about an hour west of Sioux Falls and right off the interstate. Mitchell, South Dakota. Now, Mitchell approximately has 15,000 people, and it's a cool little town, best known for its tourist attraction, the Corn Palace. And of course, there's a lot more to Mitchell. They have a compact downtown area and another food and hotel scene out by the interstate. So there's about 2 different spots when you deal with the food scene and the hotel scene, with more chain hotels and chain restaurants out by the interstate. And of course, they're familiar as well. But because the town is smaller in size, it's about a 5-minute drive from I-90 to the downtown area, which is precisely where the Corn Palace is. And on top of it, it's easy to find. Simply take Burr Street north through a couple stoplights until you get to Ash Avenue, and then you're going to hang a left. Don't worry if I'm going too fast, because there is a sign that will lead the way. You're going to hang a left on Ash. You're going to go a few blocks headed west until you get to Main Street. Now, there are a bunch of things that you're going to see, and I won't mention every single store or restaurant, just a couple to give you a feel for the town. And you will always find your own adventure, let me tell you. Do not feel like any other person or experience, including myself, has to be your experience. But with that, here is one. When you get to Main Street, you'll notice the old train depot, notably called the Depot. It's listed as one of Mitchell's favorite places to eat, but I love the location in the old train depot. Plus, it's right at the southern point of Main Street. and a great starting point to work yourself right down Main Street to the Corn Palace. By the way, you can check out their website at mitchelldepot.com, and they recommend reservations, by the way. And this is not a paid advertisement, just a quick mention. So head down Main Street. You're going to go a few blocks, and to your right is a bar and grill called Big Dummies. You gotta love the name. But the backstory on this is that I found myself wandering downtown, had talked to a local on the street and asked for a few suggestions. And without hesitation, she said, "Do you like burgers?" And of course, I'm Midwest's small town at heart, so of course I love burgers. She highly recommended it. It's just a normal bar, but don't let that deter you if the bar scene is not your jam. The service I experienced was top notch, and the food was delicious. Now, if the bar scene is your jam, this is a good spot to hang, maybe play some pool, whatever you like, but Big Dummies was personally recommended to me by a local, and let's face it, the locals know, right? So that's kind of a first place to go. There's two more places I'll mention quick, and that's Palace City Brewing, Mitchell's first craft brewery. So if brew pubs are what you're looking for, this has great atmosphere and, of course, some good brews to try. But if you want location, and this is my biggie, location, 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 specifically proximity to the Corn Palace, give Bradley's a try. It's right next door to the Palace, so you can't miss it. I have a few more suggestions, but let's bring up an idea for you. If you are making a trip along I-90 east or west in South Dakota, let's say you're just looking for a spot to break up your trip to and from the Badlands or a place to simply stop and stretch your legs, the Corn Palace in Mitchell gives you a nice option. Now, I made a video on this, and I'll post my Corn Palace adventure on my YouTube channel, so wherever you are listening to this podcast, because we are on all major podcasting platforms, including YouTube, so if you listen to your podcast there, you can just check out the video. If you are on Apple or Spotify or a few of the others, you have to drop by and give it a view, get some ideas, plan your trip however you want to do it. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and we'll keep dropping both podcast and video content. But let's talk about the Corn Palace. Have you ever been? If you haven't, I think it's definitely something that needs to be experienced at least once. Put it down on your bucket list. And it's not like something earth-shattering once you see it. You get there and it's this huge building that has seating inside and a basketball court, and it holds several events throughout the year like concerts, basketball games, festivals, including, by the way, the Corn Palace Festival, which is held every August. So the timing is right on that. Go check out Mitchell online. Just Google it and you're going to find out more about that festival. Now, I have a few stories for you while I was visiting. The first is this, that it has always amazed me that the outside murals on the walls of the Corn Palace are completely designed and made out of corn. And they change every single year. So the Corn Palace literally does not stay the same. The second is this. When I walked into the Corn Palace just to look around, I noticed it was completely free. That's right, free. $0. So that was good to know while visiting there, because there is lots to see there. It's family friendly, so you can go there. It's on your budget level, right? But there's this. There is a second level to the Corn Palace, which I had no idea, which allows you to walk out on a balcony in front of the Corn Palace, and it gives you a look over Main Street in Mitchell. Just be sure to wave and smile, because the tourism office across the street has you on what they call the Corn Palace cam. So smile big and wave. By the way, you can literally walk down on the basketball court during the week, and when it's not being used, of course. They use it as a makeshift gift shop where you can buy your Corn Palace gifts and tourism shirts, mugs, other collectibles. Oh, and don't forget the old red Farmall tractor in the lobby, with steps, by the way, leading up to it for kids to hop on for a picture and plenty of other photo moments. All right, moving right along. And after a little bit of walking around and looking at the palace, if you have kids or even some restless adults, they might be ready to move on. Simply walk across the street, because there are plenty of other kid activities. And of course, some of us adults can say we're kids too. And there's a selfie spot, by the way, so you can get a family picture or selfie with the Corn Palace directly behind you. You can't miss it. You're going to see this big ear of corn sitting there kind of like a statue, and that's where you can do your selfie. But there's also this. There is a mini boardwalk with businesses wrapped around this mini U shape. Don't forget the Mitchell Mercantile. There's plenty of cool stuff inside. And once you get some pics by the Mitchell mural out in the back play or patio area, right? So you're going to wrap around that boardwalk. You'll go behind the building and you're going to see what I'm talking about. You'll want to go inside for a scoop or two of some delicious ice cream. My recommendation, by the way, try the lemon poppy seed. Amazing. It was sweet, fresh, citrus, lemony, tasty. Again, it was suggested by a local as I was going in, and they had their scoop of lemon poppy seed and just gave a quick tip. Hey, you got to try this. You are going to like it. And I have to admit, it would not have been my go-to typically because I usually lean towards any like cheesecake flavor. But in this instance, I took the suggestion and I didn't regret it. It's really delicious. I have a little bit of footage on my YouTube channel on getting that lemon poppy seed ice cream. So most of this episode looking at Mitchell, South Dakota revolves around the Corn Palace, but there's definitely more to do in this small town. One last thing is a few of the museums. Are you a history buff? Do you like museums? This could be for you. Number one, the prehistoric Indian village, just a little ways down the road north out of town from the Corn Palace, is actually an indigenous archaeological site and a National Historic Landmark, and the only active archaeological site open to the public. How cool is that? Now, this is an excellent place to take your kids. Check this out because you need to see if they're doing any live digs going on or with any special events. And if there is, that's pretty cool. You can do that, but there's plenty of things planned through the summer, and you still can participate in what they call a kids dig, and you can exchange any artifacts found for an arrowhead. How cool is that? That's open from 9 to 6 throughout the week. It's $10 for adults, but it's free for all children 17 and under. So note that, families, as well. Number two is the Dakota Discovery Museum, helping preserve the heritage of the Native American and immigrant people in the middle border states, covering roughly a time period between the 1600s to 1939. So this museum offers more exploring in Mitchell, and that's $7 for adults and $3 for children 6 to 17. But if you have children that are 6 and under, it is free. And if outdoor activities is your thing, hiking, biking, fishing, boating, Lake Mitchell has you covered. It's a little over a mile from the Corn Palace, but it offers plenty of beaches and trails. And you can get a great overview on all these things on Mitchell's tourism site, which is visitmitchell.com. Mitchell has 2 L's, by the way, so MITCHELL. Visitmitchell.com. Go check it out, browse and explore around, see what interests you, but definitely a Midwest small town worth visiting. Okay. So looking ahead, we have some great videos coming out. I didn't have a chance to be out during Sturgis this year in South Dakota, but I'll be making the trek up to North Dakota this coming week. I'll be covering a couple small towns between Fargo and Bismarck, maybe a living ghost town. We'll talk more about that here shortly. But whatever town we end up exploring, it will be in good old North Dakota next week. So stay tuned on that. Between some of our recordings and footage takes, I'll try and expand the channel more, combining some of the older Midwest Ghost Town material. So now some of you who are not familiar with Midwest Ghost Town, that is a completely different site and podcast that I was doing from a historical point of view, covering abandoned towns and ghost towns. A lot of history in the Midwest. And some of that, by the way, you're going to find out that some of those towns don't exist anymore because they've been razed down to the ground or plowed under. And so some of that history and the stories to find there takes a little bit more time. But when I do have those, I will add that to this. Now, I do have some of that I have done in the past. What I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to rework some of those videos and some of those podcasts and squeeze them in here at Midwest Small Town. So if history is your thing, you're going to want to stay tuned, especially on those episodes. A lot of Midwest ghost towns, believe it or not. Some of them formed by railroads, some of them formed by mining operations. which happened up in northern Minnesota and South Dakota, all sorts of things. So we'll talk more about that, maybe what caused ghost towns, and it really kind of fits into the whole arena of small towns. Some of you small towns out there might have a population of 50 or less. We talk more about that as well. But we're always going to shine a positive light on your community regardless. So, more to come on that as we travel down this road together. And as we always say here on this channel, go small, come home. This is Midwest Small Town.